Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Warbirds tournament and From the Depths. I am your host, Chromoid, and today in episode 16, we begin the first of two semifinals. In this fight, we'll be watching the Killer Bee by Minty facing off against the Twitchy Shooty by Hyperpsychos. Both entries have fought hard to get here, but only one can continue on to be our finalist. The Twitchy Shooties are around 97,000 RP apiece, the Killer Bees are around 97,000 RP apiece, and the Twitchy Shooties are at 62,000. Based on the rules, that means this is a 2v3 fight for the Killer Bee. Let's get right into this and see what happens. Warbirds ready? Dogfight! And immediately the Twitchy Shooties demonstrating their superior turning ability right here. Pretty much like the A20, but a little bit less of a tight pattern. Here we go. I promised to stop doing first person, but we can still do third person locked on the aircraft, seeing people are okay with that. Pieces flying off one of the Twitchy Shooties. These Killer Bees are coming awfully close to hitting each other, but they're flying in good formation. Meanwhile, all three of the Twitchy Shooties have turned around and are laying into the Killer Bees. This is a really good fight. The Twitchy Shooties have maneuverability on the Killer Bee, but they are made primarily of wood. And because of this, that means that these Twitchy Shooties might go down a lot easier than you'd think to those flak rounds from the Killer Bees, and there's a lot of guns on those Killer Bees. Killer Bees are also made primarily of metal, and all their vulnerable bits are on the back. So this means that they have a really good ability to tank some of these shots coming in from the Twitchy Shooties. Another big chunk flying off the Twitchy Shooties. They're hanging in there very well. We've seen fights before where a single volley was enough to take out one. If I remember correctly, that particular fight, the centered nose right here was cored straight out of the Twitchy Shooty, meaning that it was unable to continue to fight because its main prop was gone. The fact that there's more than one aircraft on each side is really splitting the firepower of each side. It's making it hard for them to pick and choose a target, hard for them to lock on. This is not the Killer Bee's first 2v3 fight. I believe the last one it had was... Ooh, that was a very close near collision by that Killer Bee. I'm trying to remember who the Killer Bee fought. It was the last episode. It's been a little while since I recorded that. But it had a 2 versus 3 fight. Oh, dear! A Killer Bee shot down. Not ours, fortunately, but that one just took a beating. And I believe... No, it's not out yet, folks. Yes, it is. It's AI dead. Those Twitchy Shooties are focusing now on this one, and they've knocked the tailplanes out of it. And that will be it, I fear, for the Twitchy Shooties for this round. A very fast-paced round, a lot of good action, but the superior numbers of the Twitchy Shooties combined with their ability to outturn the Killer Bee seems to have got the edge here. And the Killer Bee is descending into the depths. Oh, so close. I'm not entirely sure why this one didn't despawn. It should have, by rights. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. I don't think it has an AI left in it. Well, regardless, it is out. It is definitely out. And so, the first round goes to the Twitchy Shooty. I will get this restarted, and I will see you guys in a minute. And we are back for round 2 of the first semi-final in the Killer Bee versus the Twitchy Shooty. Last round, the Killer Bee was knocked out of the sky after a quick tussle with the Twitchy Shooties, and now we're going to see if they have what it takes to put the sting back in them, or if the Twitchy Shooties are going to wipe the skies clear of that buzzing terror once and for all. Let's get right into this. I don't think the Twitchy Shooties have a seat in them, so I'm not even going to try to warp to them. That's just distracting. Warbirds ready? Dogfight. There's that immediate turn again by the Twitchy Shooties. This one's taking its sweet time getting around. They like to climb first. Both craft climb high up before they take off. Killer Bees have a great formation. I love it. And here comes the gunfire. The Twitchy Shooties do seem to take the brunt of the damage. It's when those Killer Bees get behind them. Oh no, I spoke a little too soon there. That one has just gotten shredded. Both Killer Bees focused it very hard. But here's the problem. The Killer Bees get turned, the Twitchy Shooties, get turned around the Killer Bees' tails very quickly, much like the A20 Havoc does. and it seems to do a lot of pain to the back of these killer bees. As you can see, it's very fragile in the back. That one might be out. Yep, that one has lost its left thrust, its left propeller. Never mind, it has not. I thought it had been knocked out. As you can see, these have two different propellers. When one goes out, it unbalances the thrust. That killer bee just took a bit of a hit. Seems it's still okay. There goes those flat cannons again. It's just non-stop action. Oh no! A Twitchy Shooty goes down into the water. I don't think it can come back from that, folks. It's now 2-2. We've seen, though, the killer bees seem to be rather explosive from the back, so we'll have to see. The flak rounds in them certainly do not do them any favors. For those of you who are not familiar with From the Depths mechanics, anytime an ammo clip in one of these cannons explode or is destroyed, and it contains any sort of explosive or fragmentation round or EMP, unless the round in it is completely solid and has no special damage type whatsoever, when the clip is damaged and destroyed, it will detonate and cause the type of damage according to the shell it has to the craft. So basically, all that rambling is to say, these have flak rounds in them, and so when their autoloaders and ammo clips are destroyed, they quite literally explode, and that's probably what caused the detonation we saw earlier. Loaded autoloader going off, and probably reaching an ammo barrel somewhere, causing a chain reaction inside the killer bee. It seems they're getting luckier this time. They're not getting hit quite as hard. I mean, well, they are getting hard. 2 guns out on this one. All still functional on this one, it seems. Killer bees are giving us a good account of themselves this time. The Twitchy Shooties are trying everything they can to put these things out of their misery. And it's just, now they're both critically damaged. There goes another one. I think that one's probably going to be out of the fight. Well, not completely. It can still turn and shoot, but it no longer has control. I said that a little too soon, didn't I? It's still flying. Magnificent. It's still in this. Oh, dear. It won't be in this much longer if it keeps taking hits like that. Unfortunately, for that killer bee, there is another Twitchy Shooty, and it is hot on its tail. That's probably the one that's most functional right now. Both of those, these 2 cripples are over here still fighting it out. This one's still doing everything it can to stay in and help its partner, but it's really kind of a 1v1 now. This one's circling, it's going to fall into the ocean. This killer bee is so badly damaged it can hardly stay in the air. It's down to these last 2 fighters right here. And I say that that one's crippled. It's still working. And it looks like this one has finally had enough. It's falling into the ocean, and there it will stay. Whereas the other one, oh no, this Twitchy Shooty is struggling. I think it's just a 1v1 now, folks. Killer B97 and Twitchy Shooty 100%. This is it, mano a mano. 2 perfectly healthy Warbirds going at each other with everything they've got. All numbers advantages are aside now. Who has the better machine? Who brought the better guns? Who used the better mechanics? Right now, the Twitchy Shooty definitely has the maneuverability on the killer bee, and frag rounds too. That is very, very bad for this very vulnerable backside. The killer bee needs to get turned around. Fortunately, I think the killer bee is actually faster than the Twitchy Shooty, which means it can hopefully loop around. Yes, it can. Oh no, but it's picking the wrong target. It's picking the wrong target to shoot at. It's prioritizing the ones in the water. Oh, that might be it for it, folks. If these 2 form a distraction for this remaining Twitchy Shooty, it can easily pummel that killer bee until it falls. And these 2 might eliminate each other if they're not careful. Oh, that profile as the killer bee turns is really not helping it. It gives the Twitchy Shooty something to hit very easily. There's a bit of flak bursting, taking off some blocks. They're fighting very well, but oh no! Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for the killer bee. It's just lost most of its thrust. It's almost motionless in the air, and it will not be able to stay in the air, I don't think. And here comes the Twitchy Shooty. It smells blood. It knows its prey is hurt. The only hope for that killer bee is if it has a repair bot, if it can get that connection right there repaired. I can hear it repairing. It has repair bots in it. Oh, Twitchy Shooty giving it a bit of a hug and a love tap, and pieces fly off of the Twitchy Shooty. Twitchy Shooty took some damage there. It did not need to do that. The killer bee was already on its way down, and now the killer bee actually is more healthy than the Twitchy Shooty. One of the Twitchy Shooties has either gotten too damaged by the killer bee or too damaged by ramming its own partner and has despawned. Oh, this is unfortunate. If it can repair this little bit right here, it might have a chance. But as it stands... Oh, where'd the other Twitchy Shooty go? Is it in the water? Where did the other Twitchy Shooty go? Oh, there it is. Yes, it's still flying, it's still trying, but I don't think... No, the killer bee hit the water and could not repair itself in time. The repair bots could not get around to fixing it in time, and I think, folks, that is the end of the killer bee's victory streak. I think it has finally fallen. That was so close. It could have gone either way at that point. The Twitchy Shooty got itself a very lucky shot. Look at that, severed the connector right there. I'm going to give it a second, see if it can reconnect. The repair bot is going exactly the opposite direction of where it needs to be right now. You silly thing, don't repair the fins on the back. You need to repair this thing right here. Your machine won't fly without it. There it goes. Let's see if it can get this fixed. Nope. It's going to fix some more propellers. Oh, that's frustrating. Will it decide that it needs to fix this before it hits the ground? I don't know if that even matters. There it is. Alright, there it is, folks. Let's see if oh no, I don't think it can. I think the killer bee has met its end, folks. It's rammed itself into the terrain. It repaired too late. Well, that is sad. We gave it its fair chance. The last lone Twitchy Shooty is your winner. Hyperpsychos, you are our first finalist. And Minty, man, you came within a gnat's hair of winning this as one of the closest fights I've ever witnessed. So close. But again, only one can win, and it is the Twitchy Shooty who takes the prize and goes on to see if it has what it takes to be the champion of the Warbirds tournament. Until next time, folks, I have been Chromoid, and this is the Warbirds tournament. I will catch you next time for our second semifinal, the A20 Havoc, flying up against the Hagitaka. That should be quite a fight to behold. See you, folks. Bye-bye.